Some controversies trailed Tinubu's visit to Afenifere's leader, Afasoro's house in Akure, where he was said to have received blessings from the elder statesman. We get Chief Adebanjo's reaction on that matter tonight. And the National Security Advisor, General Babangida Mongunu, says there is no cause for alarm over security threats and terror alert on the heels of some countries evacuating their officials from the country. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. Let's get straight to it and let's tell you that President Muhammadu Buhari has left Nigeria for London, where he's expected to undergo a routine medical checkup. The president left for the UK after attending a conference and retreat for senior police officers in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, in a statement earlier today says that President Buhari will return to the country after the medical routine checkup on the second week of November 2022. Well, it's now time for us to check your political roundup stories. And when we come back, of course, our conversations, some of the controversies trailing Bola Tinubu's visits to Akure yesterday. That meeting was said to have gotten the blessings and the endorsement of the leader of Afenifere Fasorati. But there seems to be some reactions coming from Chief Adebanjo and the fact that earlier the Afenifere leader had openly given the stance of Afenifere that they've endorsed Peter Obi for 2023. But we look at all of the controversies and the issues and get some clarity tonight. Let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The resident electoral commissioner for Cross River State, Mr. Johnson Alalibo, says the commission is embarking on sensitization to educate voters across the South-South zone ahead of the 2023 general election. He was speaking in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, during a workshop organized for stakeholders across the 6 states in the South-South geopolitical zone. Mr. Alalibo is assuring citizens of the zone of free and fair elections.
I hereby advise you to take different sections of this training seriously so you can be more equipped for the tasks ahead. I trust that you will double your engagement for more achievements on the forthcoming election.
The Conference of Civil Society Organizations in Nigeria is calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission to reorder the sequence of elections in the 2023 general election in such a way that governorship elections are held before the presidential election. The group, which briefed journalists in Abuja, notes that the reordering will help to cut down on the tension that follows presidential elections in Nigeria.
We equally enjoin all true Democrats to stand up and be counted in support for the review and reordering of the sequence of the 2023 election by INEC.
The presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Mr. Dumebi Kachiku, is asking President Muhammadu Buhari to convene an emergency economic summit to address the country's ailing economy. Mr. Kachiku, who was reacting to the federal government's decision to redesign some of the nation's currencies at a news conference in Abuja, notes that it is meaningless to keep discussing the 2023 general election in the face of numerous threats to the country's corporate existence.
I call on President Buhari to convene an emergency economic summit. We all need to get involved in this conversation. It is meaningless to keep on talking about the 2023 general elections when our present realities suggest that we might not have a nation by that time.
The Borno State chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Zana Gadama, has described some of the activities of the ruling All Progressives Congress ahead of the elections as an act of desperation to win the state. Speaking at a media briefing in Abuja, Mr. Gadama says 2 videos trending on social media show the state's chairman of the APC in Borno State, Bukar Daluri, and the current member of the House of Assembly issuing open threats that the APC must win the elections in the state using all means necessary. The PDP is urging security agencies to investigate the matter to prevent unnecessary loss of lives and property in the forthcoming elections in the state. And the Director General of the Presidential and Governorship Campaign Council for APC in Oyo State, Dr. Isiaka Kolawole, has expressed optimism that Senator Teslim Folari would not be an accidental governor if elected in 2023. He made this known during the inauguration of heads and members of the campaign team in the state. A team of 3,333 members was inaugurated across the 33 local government areas of Oyo State at the ceremony.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. That you've been served with your political roundup stories. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari held a security meeting today at a presidential villa before heading to Imo State. The meat of that meeting was an issue which trailed recent security advisories by the United States and the United Kingdom. Well, the National Security Advisor, the NSA, Babangana Mongono, has assured Nigerians that there is no cause for alarm. The NSA said the situation is under control, described as false and irresponsible the perception of heightened insecurity in Abuja as painted by the UK and the US government. Take a listen to the NSA.
From the time these stories started emerging until now, about a week to 10 days, you can see that so far the situation has been brought under control. The issue of Nigerians being made to panic is unnecessary. The situation in various areas of the Federal Capital Territory, the situation has been brought under control. And we're trying as much as possible to work with our neighbors and within the domestic situation to work with our foreign partners in a responsible way without giving the impression that Nigeria is skating on thin ice and we're about to implode. That I would want to dispel any illusion about any heightened sense of insecurity. It is false, it is irresponsible for anybody to give that signal. We're working with our foreign partners in a responsible way, and Nigerians should go about their normal daily undertakings without being put in a situation of fear.
Well, that's the NSA from a meeting earlier held on security situation in the country before the president went to Imo State, thereafter leaving for London. Now, yesterday, the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, made a surprise visit to the home of a Yoruba leader of the Yoruba socio-political group, Afenifere, in Akure, Ondo State. At that meeting, Mr. Tinubu had met Fasorati, where he presented his 80-page manifesto to the elder statesman with other prominent Yoruba leaders in attendance. Well, let me allow you to listen to some of the sound bites which came out of that event in Akure.
We will change the course of history by the grace of God. Governance is tempting and complex, but I promise Nigeria that we will turn this ship around by the grace of God. This is a copy of our agenda. We can't put everything in it. Your prayer that I got inside before I got outside here may not be enough, but keep on praying. And please, keep the promise. You will attend the inauguration.
If you look very carefully, and I know you should have known this, even those who are opposing restructuring are already asking for it, crying for it, or trying to implement it. Restructuring is very cardinal in this context. So, we would like you to remember this when you can. Not only restructuring, but security.
Well, those are some of the sound bites that came out of that meeting in Akure, the home of Power Fasoranti. Well, the meeting with Power Fasoranti is coming after Chief Ayo Adebanjo, who now leads Afenifere, had endorsed a Southeasterner in person of Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party as a preferred candidate of Afenifere for the 2023 presidential race. Tonight, we shall be speaking with Chief Ayo Adebanjo, who will be joining us live from his residence in Lekki area of Lagos State. Let's now go live to Lekki area of Lagos State, where Chief Ayo Adebanjo, the leader of Afenifere, is standing by to speak to us on the event of yesterday, where his leader, Power Fasoranti, was said to have endorsed Bola Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate for the president of 2023. Thank you so much indeed, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, and it's good to see you again. Let's begin the conversation, and please clarify for us, is there any confusion in Afenifere? First, we know the stance of your own leadership of Afenifere, that you, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, at one time endorsed Peter Obi of the Labour Party for president in 2023, and the event that happened yesterday, you were absent at that meeting. What is going on exactly?
There is nothing going on other than an attempt to split Afenifere, to which I will not be a party. I will tell you the story and I won't go further. Power Fasoranti phoned me on Friday that Tinubu had phoned him that wanted to come and see him, and he was there to say he shouldn't come. And I said, no, don't do that. You're an elder statesman. If you want to see you, why not? And I go further. Please note what I'm saying, because I'm not going to say more, because I don't want a controversy over this petty thing. I said that because you phoned me, that is why I will comment further. It is a sort of conspiracy among those who want to get Afenifere divided. They have been on this plan over a month ago. And my members came to me to alert. I said, well, don't talk about it. It will be a diversion. All we want now is an election on issues. And so I will direct you to the statement I made, tracing the history of our own supporting Southeast. And Afenifere is not a cultural organization for the Yorubas. I continue to repeat that emphatically. And I did say that during my interview, during my statement, that Afenifere is the Yoruba interpretation of action group led by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who is the champion of federalism in Nigeria. And it was on that context that the question of rotation and federal character came in. We are party to it. And he said, for us to be united in Nigeria, Nigeria cannot be ruled under a unitary form of government. We fought that case until we went to a conference in 1954. And the whole country agreed on federalism, including Dr. Azikwe, who before then was a unitarist. And I often refer you pressmen to the Daily Times of late 53 or early 54, after the return of London Constitutional Conference, when Azikwe, on a 19 from the plane, said federalism is imperative. It was on that basis that the position of premiership was established in this region, and autonomy was granted to them. Every region has its own. All these revolutions we are talking about were included. all the things that can cause a friction between various ethnic nationalities that constitute Nigeria, we solved it out. And we had our independence. Before that, we had self-government, under which our law became Premier and Savdana and all that. It's a long story. But I was just trying to cut it short to show our own position on Southeast is not a new agenda for us. Only those who want to make some importance or some relevance now. And I was stressing that issue to educate our people. When I noticed that they want
apologies to cut in, because I like to, there are a few questions, there are a few questions I would like you to answer to so that you can clarify the position of Afenifere, because there are a lot of stories out there about what is going on.
Position
and
of
you as a leader of Afenifere taking over from Parfa Soronti may be able to clarify. You've told us that you spoke with Parfa Soronti. Now, let me, and I like if you can help me tackle those questions quickly. One of the questions is this. I don't know if you can hear me, Chief Adebanjo. One of the questions that people are asking is, did you consult Parfa Soronti before the endorsement of Peter Obi of the Labour Party?
I don't have to consult. He has handed over the party to me over a year ago. That's not the way we do it in Action Group. And he knows it. I'm not a PDF leader. He said he's tired, he's old, and that I should carry on. That is the contents of the letter he gave me. And ever since we have been carrying on, no problem. But when he phoned me, that's why I want to trace that history. When he phoned me and I told him, well, these people want to cause dissension. Get out of it. I know all of them. And Shehu, I would like you to examine all those who are there, who you are calling Afenifere. Ask them when did they attend the Afenifere meeting last. And look at all the personnel. They are the Yoruba leaders in the APC. I don't want to go into all that diversion. That's what I have to avoid it. All I want to say
let me then get another
clarification.
From what you gleaned from that meeting in Akure, Chief Adebanjo, would you say that was an endorsement from Parfa Soronti?
From what he told me, from what I understand, it cannot be an endorsement. Because I told him, he sees him as a citizen. I would like you to ask Parfa Soronti pointedly, the stand of Afenifere is opposed to it. If he says, yes, okay, I'm okay. But the people who are in Afenifere, the secretary, the executive and all that, where we are. But it's those who have left Afenifere, who are jealous of the solidarity there now, and who want to cause dissension that they are bringing him in. And I want Parfa Soronti, don't allow yourself to be put into this mess. I can deal with all of them when they are. They were not there when we are doing all these things. But I don't want any diversion at this time. Afenifere is for Yobi, hook, like, and sinker. And not because of
your response
anything.
now takes me to the questions and those who have alleged that Chief Adebanjo has not moved on. He feels offended about what has happened in the past, in the early 2000s, about the political party and your alliance or association with Bola Tinubu and the fallout and a lot of the controversies at that time. But let me ask you, and you have the opportunity to be able to clarify this issue. Have you moved on? Have you forgiven Bola Tinubu from your differences and at that time?
Shehu, I want to correct you and stop talking about forgiving Bola Tinubu. If Bola Tinubu should ask me to forgive him for betraying the party, how can he say I offend him when that is not the basis under which he was elected? That's why I say I don't want to get to this problem. That will be the diversion. If anybody wants to come about that diversion, let them come straight. And they were fighting on board with Parfa Soronti. So by the time you go to this story, You are opening a lot of Pandora box, which will leave the question of the issue of the election on issue-based basis for Obi. It is now down, we are now talking, are you voting for the Yoruba man? And I made it clear in our statement. Presidency is not between the Igbos and the Yorubas. Presidency is a national thing for which if I will thought ought to be one. So it's not a question of anybody offending anybody. On principle, as I've said, on equity, on the inclusion, Southeast must be there. And I stated all these things in our statement. If anybody wants to attack, they should attack me on that statement. They should forget the messenger.
The reason why I asked that question, is because of those who said the reason why Chief Adebanjo will not support Bola Tinubu is because he still holds that difference against Bola Tinubu, and perhaps he had not let go of the differences they had. What you have said that is some kind of betrayal from Bola Tinubu. But the question now is,
my dear,
if you say that the reason for supporting Peter Obi is to give an Igbo man an opportunity to be Nigeria's president.
Purely ideological and constitutional.
All the South. Go ahead, please.
Carry on.
Right, so I wanted to ask if one of the reasons that you have given in the past is that you're looking for someone who has capacity. Above that, you are also looking at the issue of restructuring, which Afenifere has been talking about over the years. Now, should Bola Tinubu, in his manifesto, talk about restructuring, and he decides to restructure, would you reconsider supporting him or endorsing him?
My dear Shehu, don't be led by those people who don't understand or don't to confuse. How does that question of anything against him be coming here? The question of something is part of the manifesto we have. I have given the reason why the Southwest cannot be. Are you ignoring that in my statement? I said the Southwest has had social orientation of races, on inclusion, on equity. And South-South has had its own. And the Southeast is the remaining zone that has not had a bite at it. That is the question. Don't go anything about to derail the issue and stay. That's why I don't want to talk about this, whether they go there or not. Those are the issues. They should say no, the Southwest has not had it, Obasanjo has not been there. And we are fighting for rotation to avoid any section of the country monopolizing presidency. And I gave the reason. When Abiola left, they said they were now to pacify us. They brought in OBJ. After OBJ, Yar'Adua came in. After Yar'Adua, Jonathan came in. After Jonathan, Buhari came in. Buhari now done 8 years, coming back to the South. Should we go to the South, where we have already had our share, or we go to the South, which has had a share? The South is not part of the South. That is the question. That is where the action group stands. We are a party of ideological standing. Every stand.
All right, let me ask, for fairness' sake, if you said that you're considering the Southeast in the equation to become Nigeria's president based on history and antecedent, or based on the history of who had ruled this country at least in the last 20-something years since 1999. But out of the 18 candidates that are up on the ballot for 2023, what gave rise to the choice of Peter Obi, and is he the only Southeasterner or the only Igbo man on the ballot?
My dear, go and read that statement. I was going to consider only anybody from the Southeast. And from the Southeast, we chose on Obi. It's a simple thing. Even when per class said we should invite some other people from other regions, I said, no, why? I'm not an hypocrite. They are not qualified. Just on the same basis that disqualify Atiku. How can a northerner who have used 8 years there, another northerner going back there, making a northerner doing it about 30 years? This is the logic. So don't allow these confusionists to bring anything to the thing. Those are the issues they should address.
No, Chief Adebanjo, I'm just asking these questions to help clarify the positions of Afenifere and perhaps those who are asking for clarity,
certainly,
those who are asking for equity in the decision of the Yoruba socio-political group that has, over the years, gained a reputation for itself. Now, another question I'd like you to answer to give some clarity is on the basis of the decision of yesterday by Afenifere, who is your leader that you took over from? Now, the question is, have you been able to speak with Afenifere after yesterday's event? And it does look now that Afenifere now has 2 endorsements.
No. Don't continue with this confusion. I'm trying to put you straight. You are saying this was that is what I want Afenifere. That don't allow them to bring you to this mess. They are not just coming to greet you. They are coming to ask for your blessings. Try to avoid it. They have tried this one that means. Ask him. That is the statement. And that's what they came in. And I want to hear from him that no, what Afenifere has said, I don't agree with. And you are saying from what I heard, the man has handed over. After handing over and saying that he's tired, is he still in action? I ask you. When you go on leave, I guess somebody should be taking your position. Will you be taking sanction from where you are on leave? But yeah, I don't want any confusion.
Finally, Chief Adebanjo, you are tonight speaking to the nation on the position of a group that is well respected across, not only in Nigeria, but across the world, of those who understand how the Yoruba race is being shaped and how the leadership has come over the last years. On a final note, and in perhaps 30 seconds, if you may, give us an understanding of the way forward and perhaps the impact or the influence of Afenifere. Since Afenifere is not able to put up a political party, what is the way forward from here such that the position and the stance of the Afenifere which you lead stays and that people might understand better? Just in 30 seconds, Chief Adebanjo.
My dear, there's no confusion. It is you press men that are confusing. I said the man handed over to me. And he has never done anything to disturb me ever since. It is those who want to be relevant. I don't want to mention names here because that is where they will be disputing. I will have been mentioning them, those who are there, to ask them, when last did they attend meeting, even the fashion of this when he was in office. But that's another diversion, which they want to avoid. I don't want to avoid that. I want to avoid that. All I'm saying is that the stand of Afenifere. And I started this, I said it in my statement, that I was the first to say, Southeast, you have it. And I said in that statement that Yoruba leaders came to me and said, well, I even don't know, Obi has not emerged. But I said, I don't believe in this election. And the man said, well, if there's going to be an election, where will the presidency go? I said, of course, Southeast. I even don't know Obi is coming out then.
All right.
Is that principle I'm talking about?
All right, Chief Adebanjo, we must leave it at that.
Don't bring it up whether
you so much
you have
indeed for your time tonight, for the clarifications that you have made. Thank you so much indeed, and it's good to see you, especially tonight. You're looking very casual and perhaps I would say younger. Thank you so much, Chief Adebanjo, for talking to us on the program tonight. Appreciate it. Now, let's switch gears now and talk about the politics of Kogi State. the Kogi State government has asked heads of security agencies in Nigeria to invite Kogi Central Senatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mrs. Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, for questioning over alleged terrorism-related activities. The government said despite heavy security interventions by the present administration of Yaya Bello to get rid of terrorism in the state, it was worried that politicians had deliberately continued to groom terrorists in the state as well as import them from neighboring states. There was a statement issued by the Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo, where he says that the state government has alleged that Ms. Akpoti-Uduaghan had exhibited enough actions to be invited over terrorism-related activities, especially with the manner in which the PDP and organizations linked to Mrs. Akpoti-Uduaghan had been advocating for the release of an arrested terrorist called Safiu. I'm being joined by the Commissioner for Information and Communications in Kogi State, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo. He joins us virtually from Lokoja. Thank you so much, Mr. Fanwo, for joining us. What are the evidence that are available from that estate raid and what happened at that event? There seems to be a lot of confusion. Give us a position of the government of Kogi State on this matter. Mr. Fanwo, it does look like you've muted your computer. If you can unmute so that we can hear you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheung. In the early hours of today, we called on security agencies to invite some PDP leaders for interrogation, chief among which is Barrister Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, so that they come and explain the connection they have with one of the terrorists that was arrested because they've been calling for his release and have been making a lot of noise and allegations concerning a known terrorist that was arrested by the Eagle Eye security agencies. That is enough evidence to show the world that Natasha Uduaghan is breeding terrorism in the state. As much as we know, she has imported a lot of terrorists, a lot of militants to come and destabilize the peace of the state. So with this one, for them to come out and identify openly with an arrested terrorist, then I think it's high time security agencies invited her for questioning.
Give us a sense of what exactly is happening, because we will get our own side tonight on what has become a very major controversial issue in your state. Now, there are pictures that have emerged of this same Safiu man that is said to have been arrested with some top officials of Kogi State government. Perhaps let's put up those pictures linking and saying, look, at what point did Natasha Akpoti has this link? Is this man also not linked with officials in Kogi State? I'm very sure you've seen some of these pictures. So I guess that's the man in question on the left side of your screen. And that's another part of him right there on the screen. So will you react to that, Mr. Fanwo?
Thank you very much. I'm not denying these pictures that you are showing. And you know the way these people operate. At times, they operate under the cover of not being known by the people they tend to get close to. So they tend to get close to these people to garner a lot of information to see how they could affect the security architecture of the place. And we cannot deny that. But the fact that he has been found out, and at the time he was found out, he had already gone back to those people that gave him the contract of terrorism by saying that he is fully with Natasha Uduaghan and the rest. Our place is not his place. And as we approach the 2023 general elections, he had decided to fully come out to identify with the people that have given him the contract to come and destabilize the security architecture of the state.
And understanding what this contract is all about. Well, I mean, what is the form of this contract? What contract exactly is it?
It is a contract of destabilization, a contract of bloodbath that we are witnessing today. You know, when we came in, Kogi Central was the dungeon of criminality. It was so tough that, you know, they killed tens of people daily when PDP was in power because of some of these people that were recruited to be fomenting trouble. Even some international terrorist organizations, they have their cells in Kogi Central. You know, with the activity of the PDP, of Barrister Natasha and her cohorts, now Kogi Central is gradually drifting back to the yesteryears of bloodbath. I will give you a particular statistics. The crime rate in Kogi State today, when you put it 100%, 51.2% is coming from Kogi Central alone. This is the data with security agencies in Kogi State.
This fellow, this fellow that has been arrested, where is he?
I will not want to divulge that. I think security agencies will be in the best position to tell us where he is. On our part, as a government, we are monitoring the situation because the fight against terrorism should not be politicized. And we would ensure that we fight totally to rid Kogi of some of these terrorists that are disturbing our peace.
Well, I'm since being joined by the person in question that the Kogi State government had asked that the security agencies should arrest, and he's the Kogi Central senatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mrs. Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
The government has asked for your arrest and interrogation. Do you know the Sefiu man? What is your link with him? Did you give him a contract to destabilize Kogi State?
Jeshu, like yourself, I'm a Nigerian, so I woke up to that unfortunate news. And I have not met the Sefiu man in question. Neither have I contracted with him in any form. As I'm speaking to you, on until 3 weeks back, he has been an active member of the APC Kogi State. You see pictures with him hobnobbing with Yaya Bello and the chief of staff and every other person there. He's actually been bidding their deeds. So when I saw the video where Sefiu decamped openly, and especially the one which he amongst other young men led a project calling for the end of violent activities and thuggery in Kogi Central leading into the elections. I was like, okay, this is the first of its kind. And it's knowing some faces, I was like, okay, who is this gentleman? I kept on asking questions, who is this, who is this, who is this? It was in that process, they were like, okay, Natasha, some of these gentlemen here, including Sefiu, could have been the ones that actually attacked you at the INEX Peace Pact in Lokoja in 2019. And I felt a bit cold. I was like, really? They said yes, that he is actually a stepbrother to the chief of staff who works with the governor, that they actually, the Kogi State governor, granted Sefiu and many others a pardon from the Nigerian prisons in Kuje here. I don't know whether he was a convicted criminal, but I know that he was in prison.
Have you met the Sefiu person?
No, I haven't met with the Sefiu.
Have you spoken with him?
I haven't spoken with him.
Well, but you were asking for his release. Did you ask for his release?
I didn't ask for his release, but as a concerned person, I asked questions about the Trademore incident, because prior to the Trademore incident, arrests by the Nigerian Navy from Kogi State.
So, for those who do not understand what the Trademore incident was, there was an incident, there was an arrest by the Nigerian Navy at the Trademore.
Led by the Kogi State Division of the Nigerian Navy.
Give us an understanding of what happened.
Okay, here it is. It was, I think, a Tuesday last week. Prior to that, I got an information that Yahya Bello had secured a search warrant from the courts to search my house in the village, in my hometown, Ihima, alongside my office, my campaign office, and the houses of some key PDP officials. The whole idea behind the search warrant was to embarrass, to plant ammunitions and explosives, and in the presence of the television stations, he was going to, like, you know, search and embarrass us and then call for the arrest. So the moment we got wind of that, we wrote a petition to the DSS and to the Nigerian police. You will see it's actually acknowledged before the trade war, but the Bello didn't know about this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have planned all this sham.
The trade mall is where your office is?
No. Trademore Estate is in Lube, okay. And that's where Shafiu was.
Arrested.
Yes. That's where Shafiu was arrested.
So what is the link between you, Shafiu, and the trade mall?
Yaya Bello should explain what this is. I'm only feeding you part of what I see on the news as well.
So you have written a petition to the DSS?
We wrote a petition because we got to know that Yaya Bello was going to stage a search, plant explosives, and then get us embarrassed as if, oh, they found this is what we're trying to do. Now, let me say this a bit. In the 2019 elections, I was tagged as unfit to campaign because I was single and all. But now that I got married to a gentleman from Delta State, there has been a campaign that I'm married to a militant who is going to bring in militancy to Kogi State. So that's it. So based on that, Yaya Bello has carefully been masterminding a plan to find a way of disturbing, of taking me out of the election. That's an
allegation on the governor of your state.
I am saying this.
This must also come with, well, you're a lawyer,
yes,
so you understand the ramification of the issues of reformation.
Yes, of course. But let me say this now. I have no connections with Shafiu in person, other than the fact that he decamped to PDP about 3 weeks ago, and based on that, Yaya Bello got offended that he was not going to be able, or he would not avail himself to disrupt the campaigns as he did in the 2019 election. That's the gentleman's offense. So having roped him into the explosives by using the Nigerian Navy, but on my way here from AIT, I got to know that Shafiu is right now with the DSS because the DSS had to call the Nigerian Navy Kogi division that they should bring him in. So that being said, I would actually appreciate if the DSS actually invites me, but I would want the DSS to invite Yaya Bello as well and bring Shafiu to the table, and Asuku himself, that's the chief of staff, who claimed to have freed the gentleman from prison and supported him through his life. Now, I would also want the DSS to televise the interrogation. I don't mind paying for airtime on channels and AIT and TVC and all that, and we'll have it streamed on social media platforms. I would want the interrogation to be free because it's about time that Nigerian government zooms into the violence. So you think this is political in nature? It is political, and it's political because Yaya Bello knows that he's failing, he's going to lose. I bet you PDP is going to clear all seats in Kogi State because we are tired of the tactics of Yaya Bello.
All right. Let me allow Mr. Fanwo to react to what Ms. Akoti-Uduaghan has said. I'd like to touch on a few issues before we go. So let's hit the nail on the head quickly. Your reaction to what Ms. Akoti has said.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that Mrs. Natasha Uduaghan is a lawyer. And you know that what law affords us is the ability and the capacity to organize your facts properly. And I'm very sure he will not want to be a very terrible example of a bad lawyer. Let me send out this fact. One, she said that Shafiu was an APC member. You know, there are qualifications before you become a member of a party. Shafiu is not in our register, either manually or digitally. So what made him a member of the party in the first place? Two, she said she did not know anything about Shafiu, but they wrote a letter to the IG to tell the IG that the governor was trying to organize the arrest of Shafiu at Trademore Estate. You know, how did she get to know that there was a plan like that if she had no connection with Shafiu? And why was the desperation to ensure that they halt the arrest of a terrorist? Now, thirdly, she has been alleging that it was the Navy that carried out the operation. The DSS had come out openly to own the operation. So I don't know, maybe there are things that she knows that Nigerians don't know about this.
Mr. Afanwo, I would like her to respond to that. But she raised an issue which I would like you to respond so that she can take all those together. is the fact that Shafiu was once arrested and was released. On what basis was he released?
Okay, let me tell you this, Mr. Shew. On Shafiu's arrest and release, I would not want to say anything about that because it borders on national security right now. So let the security agencies be able to come out to talk about that. And also, we will also confer with the Attorney General of the state, who is competent enough to deal with such.
Let me allow Ms. Udwan to respond to it. Please, is your chance to respond now.
Now, the pictures that were shown on slides, the members, the people in there are all members of APC, and they're all members of the government. So invariably, to the layman, when you see a person hobnobbing everywhere with the governor, because see these pictures, then you just assume there's a presumption of a fact that he could be a member of APC. It's not in my prerogative to go into the ward register to ascertain whether he is registered. Then, this is the petition. It was a blank petition. We didn't mention trade more at all. All we wrote here was, you know, like the notification that Yaya Bello had planned to stage a search and to plant evidence in the process. How did you get to know this? Oh, come on, we have people. What Yaya Bello doesn't know, or what he knows, is that some of the people, both commissioners and special advisors and assistants who work with him, are actually not in principle with him because they are fed up and tired of his mode of administration. But they are too scared to resign for the safety of their lives. They are too scared. So whenever any plan happens, they call me and say, Natasha, please be careful. This is what he's planning to do.
You were a former member of the APC?
Informed, yes, by member of his cabinet. Actually, 2 people notified me of that. So immediately we got to know that he has gotten the search warrant to go into my home. I didn't even know about the trademark. It was more, you can read the petition here. I'm going to leave you copies. And I've actually posted it on your page to see.
Are you worried that once you are investigated, because if this man, I mean, he's said to have joined the PDP,
yes,
and he's been linked to you, and the government of Kogi State is taking up this matter, are you worried in any manner of what could come out of that?
I'm not worried because my hands are clean. I'm not PDP as in the party. I'm a product of PDP. I'm not the only one contesting election. There are actually 3 senators across the 3 senatorial districts. There are 3 House of Reps members, and there are a number of House of Assembly as well.
Why is it that the matter is about you?
That's the thing, because I'm a force to reckon, and I believe I'm going to actually nail the coffin on Yaya Bello's political career. It's the end. All this Bello is doing is just the last kicks of a dying horse. So, and like I said, I'm actually very excited, and I'm happy, and I actually pray that the DSS and the Inspector General of the Police and the Naval Headquarters look into this, because this particular gentleman from Lieutenant Charles Uchenna Akalieze, who leads the Naval Division in Kogi State, has actually caused a lot of mayhem. He's actually the killer for Yaya Bello in Kogi State. He killed a lot of...
This is a very strong allegation you are making.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you are a lawyer, but we need to close now.
Yes,
Let me get your 20 seconds. We need 20 seconds apiece to close it. What's your closing thought on the program? 20 seconds, Mr. Afanwo.
Again, you know, what she has said is an attack on logic. We know that Natasha Oduayan has hobnobbed with virtually all the big people in politics in Nigeria. Does that make her a member of all of the political parties where those people belong to? Again, from the conditions that she's ruling out, that if they invite him today, the governor will have to be there.
We're out of time. Let me give you your 20 seconds, Ms. Akpoti. 20 seconds, because we are totally out of time.
Of course. I'm calling on the president and all of Nigeria and all the security agencies to please call Yaya Bello to order.
All right.
We do not have to kill ourselves for power.
All right.
We should allow him.
That's how we live it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Akpoti and Mr. Fanwo, we're totally out of time. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.